I'd like to welcome Sanjay and our moderators for this discussion, David and Lalita as well.
Sanjay Kumar Jariwal holds a very important portfolio in one of the country's largest, most prestigious real estate firms, with signature developments across the South and now in Mumbai as well. We are talking about Prestige Estates Projects Limited, the well-known prestige brand of real estate, um, of developments, buildings across the metros in the country, signature developments, and he heads media, marketing, and sales. In other words, he is the guy who brings in the money. You could say he's the chief revenue officer. Media, marketing, and sales. This is full funnel, right from the top through to when the money comes in. He began his career in sales in media houses such as Pioneer, ABP, ETV, and culminating as the Vice President All India Sales for Zee Entertainment for the Telugu and Kannada channels. He then became a media and sales and marketing consultant before Prestige identified him 7 years ago as a marketing head. And from there, he's moved on to head everything from media, marketing to sales because of his focus and his commitment to ensuring results and the innovation that he's brought to the table, all of which also demonstrated themselves during the last 6 months during the pandemic. We heard yesterday from Thomas Cook and Avinash about what they're doing despite the disaster that took place in the travel industry because of the pandemic. You must also know that in real estate as well, everything came to a standstill practically, but not for Prestige, because they had Sanjay at the helm, thinking innovatively and getting people to respond even during the pandemic. And that's really what we're going to hear from him today. Over to you, Sanjay. We're all looking forward to it.
Thanks, David, for a great introduction. Only a small clarification which I thought that I should give it over here is uh, I just take care of marketing, not the sales, because sales we have a separate department, and if I get into that, I think whatever little bit of black hair which is left on me will also off, and I think I had already done myself on sales because handling sales for almost 3 decades for big time players like Inard or Z and TV and all those things, launching TV channels, maybe might have got associated for almost 25 to 30 TV channels, and launching them and gaining the revenues is one of the toughest thing. And yes, I used to always feel at a given time that the grass is greener on the other side. But I think even getting into marketing is equally tough. And so what I used to think is not. But even marketing is tough because you are answerable for each and every penny what you spend,
Exactly.
and whether pre-COVID or post-COVID or during COVID and all those things. Even pre-COVID, things were every marketer was answerable for each and every pie, and during COVID, definitely, even if anybody would have thought to even spend money, most of us I had already experienced that everybody thinks that spending of money during COVID, you are not going to get any results.
Any
And
results? Yes.
that is the reason, in fact, we thought that let us look at some cases, and I think Prestige is one of the companies in the country which actually gained after during COVID. I'm not saying we didn't gain. We gained a lot and lot as far as real estate buying is concerned from our customers. And I think thanks to all our platforms which we had shown interest in, especially digital, which has helped us a lot. Along with obviously, real estate cannot survive without newspaper and all those, but definitely there are certain things which even digitally helped us, and I will just take you through some of those uh, s- uh, creatives, and also would like to mention over here, thanks to the management of Prestige, who had given us that kind of a confidence level, and we were the first person to get back into action when it comes to COVID time, wherein most of the advertisers or most of the marketeers or most and not why most of the marketers or advertisers, the entire world was scared of COVID, and that is the reason it got into pandemic and all those kind of a stuff. And we were the first to come out of it and start our marketing campaigns on different platforms, and even we might be the first person to even open our office. I think uh, good to inform that we are working 24 by 7 from 3rd of May, immediately after the lockdown. The first lockdown was taken off, and thanks to the management again, that adequate advantages and all those things were given to all the employees, and uh, the customers anyway were not allowed to get into the building, which still we don't allow any of the vendors and all to get into our building. But yes, uh, I think we feel that instead of being reactive, we are people were quite active in checking out the entire scenario of COVID and how it's going to impact if we do not change and get certain things rolling. And that is the reason, in fact, I will share with you some of the things which we started doing it during. Can you see me on my slides?
Yes, Sanjay, we can see it.
Yeah. So that is the reason, in fact, we thought that let us look at, though we have always been talking about that COVID has done this, COVID has done that, and all those things. But we thought that instead of not doing anything during the COVID days, let us also look for an opportunity to inform the customers or the buyers of or the prospective buyers of real estate to get into it, and tell them that what exactly one can do, because I think none of us would have ever spent that kind of a time at home or with the family. What we were able to spend, especially like Prestige and all those things, for just 14 days. That is a different story. And today also, there are a lot of organizations which are working from home. But we thought that let us also look at giving the options to the uh, customers and prospective buyers that what one should do. What happened is the first lockdown happened from March. Yes, couple of days we were also off some of the media, but as I told you, we were the first among the first people to also get back into the media when uh, COVID had just started. So I'm talking about typical different platforms which any of the real estate media activities actually get into it, which is while print, everybody knows that plays a very, very important role, which even today, in today's scenario also, though things have changed, print still plays an important role. Lot of FM station because of the kind of traffic we encounter in Bangalore, and maybe even if you have to go for 5 kilometers, it will take you a couple of minutes and half an hour, 45 minutes. So obviously, FM station is a important roles. Cinema slides, billboards, television channels. Yes, though we are not very happy, we are not very heavy on television, cable, and satellite channels. But yes, especially for targeting the vernacular audience, we look at it. OTT, yes, we have started even before COVID days, and some of those other things, which is real estate portals and digital and social media. So this is just in random. It is nothing to do with the prioritization of the media. Maybe that the social media comes on the top and print comes at down. So don't take it that it is as per the prioritization or as per our spends or as per the spends of any of the real estate companies. Start of pandemic, these are the current scenario. A lot of people thought that let us also not get newspapers at home. I think still there are a couple of households in the country who are not getting into the newspaper subscriptions and all those things, because though INS and different newspapers like Times of India, Hindustan Times, and Hindu, and some big organizations have already started running a campaign that newspaper does not carry COVID, so better into the newspaper and all those things. But still, some of the subscribers who are staunch readers of newspapers have does not into it. FM stations still, yes, because due to less travel time, the listenership we feel has come down, and cinema, though it opened from 1st of October, but still we are yet to 15th of October. We are still to get some numbers from those guys, whether they have any kind of audience and all those things. Billboard, Bangalore, we don't have billboards other than the big ones, which is towards the airport. Airport obviously had issues in terms of flights and all this. So again, a problem. Cable and satellite, low sentiments. OTT, low sentiments. So all other things are low sentiments, and that is the reason we thought that is why not we think something different. Why should not we not get into, which is most of our campaigns actually get in, is project specific. Like if we have to launch a project in Whitefield, we generally do a project specific campaign. So what we thought is to get back the customers with the confidence and all those, and especially when COVID had just started, and people were had to spend a lot of time and energy and 24 by 7 at home only, not even stepping out. In fact, I just heard a gentleman, Ankit, if I'm not wrong, before it, that he had uh, jogging or cycling and all those things because of COVID. But trust me, as far as I am concerned, whether COVID or no COVID, I still continue my walk every day. That is a different thing. That it starts at 5:30 when most of us are sleeping. So I think better not to get into all those things. Be positive. Oh no, not be positive. Be optimistic, because one of the words which has gone out of the dictionary or taken as negative sense is to be positive. I think very soon the positive word itself will be written off by Oxford and not be part of any of the dictionary, because let us be optimistic, not be positive. So, as I told you that COVID gave us an opportunity to look at our walls or the place where we actually stay, be with the family, and that is the time. The first campaign what we got onto is enough space. So you will see that how we used to how people actually take care of when you have a small office or a small place. So one is a person just doing certain things on his laptop, another creative, and all these creatives did very nice, not only in the domestic market but across the world. another enough space where because you can't step out, everything is within home. Even yesterday, I was listening to Minakshi of Google, who said that now she has got into gardening and all those, and that's a new hobby, or which a lot of people would have not even thought of, has gone into it. Again, another set of a creative. Every home has become a gym because you can't step out, and all the gyms and places were closed. So all these things, what we had experienced, we had put it onto the creatives which we did for enough space. Kids can't go out because the government the had said, and along with the society, that kids playground and other places are closed. So these are the creatives which we did, especially to tell that yes, you require a better space now. And next is Oyster is your home. Expand your Oyster to a prestige home. This was another, we ran that campaign, which I just showed enough space for some time, followed by this campaign, wherein we says Oyster is your home now. Another set of creative. Think home, think prestige. This what we did, like even if at all anybody is thinking to buy a home, and please have a look at prestige. And as I told you earlier, that it has nothing to do with the project. It was a generic campaign for all our properties put together, in whether in Bangalore or in Chennai or in Hyderabad, Kochi, Mangalore, and very soon in Mumbai and Delhi. Buy online. Now, what we also started doing after running all these campaigns is, though we did this campaign, but still a lot of our customers were slightly scared of coming out of home. So what we did is, we move into your dream home and you can buy everything online. So this was another set of creative which ran across. This which what we did is for NRI. You're thinking of buying something in Bangalore, buy Prestige. Same thing is for Chennai, Hyderabad, and CBD for some of our properties, which are premium and luxury properties in Bangalore. We did something on those lines, wherein we said you want to buy something at Vittlamala Road or MG Road or Cunningham Road, please look at properties from Prestige, ready to occupy. And good thing is that because we had the options of a lot of properties which are ready to occupy, we had also focused our communication on ready to occupy homes, because that was the time when people wanted to get into their home, and not like to stay in a rented house, and or a better space wherein one has all kind of a facilities, a open space for the kids, everything. The kind of a creative which is again to do with the CBD. Then after this, what we did, once we had the mindset which was shifted towards people buying the properties, and we could see that uh, there were enough customers who started inquiring for the properties. Let us start looking at project specific communication. And we saw that starting from May onwards, the kind of a numbers what gave us in terms of buyers getting into the sites and all those things were quite encouraging for us. And I think that was all to do with the communication what we had put onto different media, that uh, Customers started visiting different projects and started inquiring and buying those properties and all. And trust me, yes, we were all scared of COVID. Yes, a lot of people lost their jobs. Yes, a lot of people had salary cuts. Yes, a lot of people had a negative and a depression and this, that, and most of the industries suffered. And we also read in some of the publications and newspapers and all those that real estate will be one of the vertical which will take its own sweet time to get back into normal. But trust me, it never happened. Touch what I would say with Prestige, because we had that kind of a communication. We had got into the mindset of different customers. We did speak to some of the customers that what exactly they feel, and that is why we launched these campaigns. And for last 3 to 4 months, starting June, yes, May or June onwards, the numbers which come to us every month is better than COVID. Meaning, if I would have done X number of sales in the month of October 2019, I have already achieved those numbers as on 25th of October. And I'm sure that we will be achieving the same thing in the coming months. So that's why I thought let us talk about that pandemic for us, maybe blessing in disguise or whatever it is, of the communication or 24 by 7, 360 degrees of planning and all those things had given us some fantastic results. And that is not only confined to the affordable homes, that is confined to affordable homes, that is confined to premium homes, luxury homes, villas, and some of the ultra luxury apartments what we have in CBD that has really given us some good numbers. So this is what we did. We have a project in Whitefield, Lakeside Habitat. Again, though not specific or a generic thing, but telling a customer made my owner move for the easy commute. In another set of creative for PLH. We have another property called Prestige Lake Ridge, wherein we said Metro Dosa, tennis, fountain coffee. This we have a property at Kamanhalli, wherein it's called North Point. This what we have a property in Kormangla. So if you look at the theme, what we started with, which was more of a informing the people that what exactly they can think of doing it, got into project specific so that in case you have any kind of a requirements at Kormangla, you have fine. Would you have anything at requirements at Kamanhalli, you have another property. So we had done this campaign. Then what we also started doing is, I will just take another half a minute on this. Earlier on, whenever we used to launch a property, we used to call the channel partners, which always play a important role for any of the real estate companies, to the project, along with some of our prospective customers and all this. But once we got into COVID, we thought it's not advisable, because at that time we also had a limit of only 50 people, which one can get into any place and all this. We thought, why should not we also start doing a virtual launch? wherein it will not only be confined to channel partners, it will not be only confined to Bangalore. Let us also go beyond Karnataka to other states in case anybody is interested. So what we started doing is we started getting into virtual launches, and we have all kind of facilities in our new office at MG Road, wherein we have a holographic table which gives you a 3D kind of stuff. You have 3D mapping of the entire project. So we thought, let's get into virtual launch. The first virtual launch, what we did, was for our property, which is at Goa. Trust me, this is the first time we have gone out of south to a market like Goa. So this was a communication which we did in Goa publications and along with other digital platforms, another set of communication. We had launched a property called Prestige Waterford. So what we did was, I'll just get into a video before we got into this property. We did this teaser campaign. So this was the campaign which we did for our, 1 second, where am I? For our Waterford campaign, and especially for our virtual launch. Again, different creatives which we have been using on uh, a different platform. We had another property launch which happened in August, September, which is called Primrose Hills. Uh, Again, it was a virtual launch with different set of creatives and all those things. Every year we do expo, which is it used to be done in one of our properties called Conrad and Sheraton. This time we thought, let us also give a new, different kind of experience to the customers, and we did it. We had done it at our Falcon Towers at Brunton Road, which is called Keys 2020. This was the set of creative which we had done. Unlock your new home and get into prestige. One thing more what we did now is, yes, property is something which one can only buy once in his lifetime. So that is why we thought, instead of, actually, people still, though there are a lot of things which are opening up, but still people are scared. Let us also look at doing something, a 3D, which is called, or an entire stuff which is to do with a virtual X. We'll just do one thing. We launched this campaign, like, take a new look inside your new home, launching Prestige Virtual X. So you decide what property you require, which location you want to get into it, and you can actually have a 3D uh, feeling of the house. Like as I told you, Prestige
We,
Water.
we can't see what
You
you're
can't see
doing.
this?
Well, we can see virtual X, that slide, title slide, but not what you're looking at.
Okay. Uh, uh,
You can just reshare, Sanjay. I think you can stop share and reshare.
One second. Can you see now?
Not yet.
Hello?
Not yet.
Anyway, I will tell you that what exactly we do on VirtualX. You have to just get into the Prestige VirtualX, and you can have a 3D kind of a view of the entire project by way of uh, uh, aerial view. You want to see how your bedroom would look like. Everything is there in the in front of your system. So what we have giving experience to the customer is that in case before getting into the property or before even thinking of buying a particular project, you have a fair idea that what exactly you are getting into. And once you have an idea what you're getting into it, it makes life simpler for a customer to decide that, okay, fine, this is my dining room, which would look like this. This is the kind of a open space. This is the kind of a clubhouse. So everything is there in front of you before you actually get into the project. Yes, I'm not saying that you just get into the project and people will buy, or until unless you are staying somewhere in US or UK and all those things. And but especially if you're staying in Bangalore, you have a fair idea. And I'm sure Prestige is one of the first clients in the country to get into these things. So this is the creatives what we are using for our virtual X campaign. Again, three different types of creative: luxury, ultra luxury, and all those things you have a idea in front of your screen. Thanks. This is what I had to present. In case you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Sanjay, for that very, very interesting presentation. And I think you're one of those very few companies which had the courage to continue engaging with prospects and customers during the pandemic, despite every other indication to the contrary. And I think we all know the kind of gloom and doom scenarios that were painted, especially for the real estate industry. But in the face of all of that, you all went ahead and engaged with them. You told your prospects, we understand what you're going through, that your world is now your home. And then you added some luster to that with the oyster, and then moved on to the fact that many people started thinking of buying a home and not being in a rented home during the pandemic. And you told them, if you're going to buy a home, it's got to be a prestige home. And then you moved on to the projects. I think it was layered wonderfully well, very insightfully done. And
And
I
really
think
creative campaigns. I think those creatives are not something you see typically from a real estate company, and really fresh out of the box and
absolutely.
well done. I mean,
So,
I do agree with you, Lalitha and David, because we had thought or we had acted in such a manner that let us get something back to the customer, give it back to the customers that, and especially at the time when most of us were into a different thinking process. And yes, we also used to hear that, man, why Prestige is getting into so much of communication and all those things, because people think differently. But good for us that we never stopped our communication, maybe for a couple of days initially. But as I told earlier, we were the first to get back onto the communication, and that may be one of the reason today. Even newspapers and most of the most of the media houses have started informing their uh, readers that real estate is bound to do good. Like just heard last week that the consumer electronics and has started, or then the automobiles have started uh, showing some good numbers vis-a-vis what it used to be in 2019. I think we have already left them behind. We are already started doing these numbers 4 months back. And that would be because of the kind of communication which we had thought of, and maybe that is one of the reasons that today we are back onto the good days for us.
So I think we'll open with the questions now, Sanjay. And
Yes.
Lalitha and I will play tag. I'll ask one question, then she'll ask another, and then we'll move on to the audience questions so that we all have a chance to interact with you.
No worries. Please go ahead.
So the first question is, it's clear from what you all did during the pandemic that the brand engaging with prospects, the brand identifying with prospects, and the brand telling prospects if it's got to be a home, it's got to be prestige, worked very strongly in your favor. Most real estate brands spend most of their advertising on projects. Would you say that going forward, Prestige will also consider continuing to build the brand?
Yeah, definitely building up a brand is always important, and especially when I just told you that now for last 2 3 months we have also crossed south borders. We have already launched our project in Goa. We plan to come out in Mumbai and Delhi. If this thing would have not hit us, or if we didn't had any kind of a restrictions and all those things, so Bombay and Delhi would have also be up running. But we thought let us, because we are getting into one of the most important markets in the country, let us wait for some time and consolidate uh, the market, understand the market. Though we have already started running a video campaigns on in Delhi and Mumbai for last couple of months, which says Falcon is coming. Uh, I don't know whether I would be able to share that with you or not, because that itself is beautiful, creative. Just a second. So this is what we are doing. Please let me know in case if you are not able to view. Can you view this?
Not yet.
Not yet, Sanjay.
I think it's taking a second, Sanjay, after you share. So yeah, we skip this. No, nothing yet, Sanjay. I think.
Nothing?
No,
I'm sorry for it. I don't know what is the issue.
never mind. I think we can imagine what it must have been like.
It's a beautiful video, which is again a teaser, which says that Falcon is coming to Mumbai, Falcon is coming to Goa, and you know that our logo comprises of Falcon. So we thought that yes, brand building is important. We have been doing a lot of brand building exercises, especially when we are not once in fact, when RERA came in, when we were not allowed to advertise unless you have a RERA. So that is the time when we did a brand building exercise. Now that we got into the COVID, that we thought that it is also good to first build that kind of a confidence among the prospective buyers and customers and all those things, and then get into project specific creatives. And as you just saw, yes, we had project specific creative, but the flow of the creatives what we had before project specific has also got into the creatives which we are running now. So it is like a combo of both. And yes, for any of the real estate guys, even for including prestige project, creatives are important. Otherwise, becomes a problem because every project has to sell.
Yeah.
In case we are not able to do a brand exercise, then also is a problem. So it is, I think, combination of both brand as well as project, which we will still continue. And especially when we want to get into markets like Mumbai and Delhi.
Thanks for that, Sanjay. In fact, for those who are listening, we had a chance to see um, the short film that Sanjay is talking about, the teaser before they go into Mumbai, and it shows these enthralling scenes of Mumbai from the air, and you can see the shadow of the falcon moving over those scenes, much like you saw the dragon shadow in Game of Thrones. I think it was very thrilling to watch and very captivating. Lalita, over to you.
Yeah. So Sanjay, I think my next question is a little inclined towards digital marketing and how Prestige as a brand has taken on digital transformation. Right? You guys have obviously been ahead of the curve and been able to innovate so quickly in terms of communication, in terms of adapting to new platforms. So we've seen that in the last couple of years alone, there have been a lot of digital solutions that have come up, especially with AI and machine learning redefining the rules. And so my next question to you is, for these creative campaigns that you just showed us, were you able to leverage some of the newer platforms like a DV360? And if yes, how were you able to sort of drive those kind of successful results?
Thanks, Lalitha. In fact, yes, uh, especially to get into the new platforms when it comes to because though we are already on digital with most of the platforms, and we are also off digital with some of the platforms. Reason is that initially we also used to, with most of the marketers used to do, was working on the impressions or the clicks or different uh, options which a platform used to give. What we had decided is we have gone into a system wherein everything is mapped in such a manner that even if the smallest of amount is spent on any of the digital platform is has to be mapped. So yes, we are on with Google. We are on with the DV360 thanks to Social Beat, who is really helping us out in running some successful campaigns with the DV on DV360 platforms and all those. And one thing good what we have learned is that better to have a targeted audience other than just doing a blast wherein we are not even knowing that where exactly we are reaching, where we are. And today, in fact, what even Minakshi, I think Minakshi only said that though they have 5 members and every 5 member would be watching something or their of their own content and all those things. And today, if I have to reach to my daughter who is working in SAP and have to communicate that why should not you pick up a house in, though she's my daughter, but why don't you pick up a house which is near to SAP labs in Whitefield? So I can communicate with her. And I think the way digital has helped us out to us is that actually targeting those customers is better to us. And now what we have also thought of and have started getting it again, thanks to Sunil and his team, comprising of Vivek and all, that they are, and especially Kila, who's forcing us, not forcing us, who has convinced us to also get into vernacular communication, which is very important in today's time, especially the market like South, wherein uh, lot of people are actually buying our properties, especially Prestige City from North Karnataka, and so better to communicate with these guys in their own language because they might speak in English, they might read everything in English, but their consumption of content would always be a vernacular. And even for me, I would say that if I might speak whole day in English, but end of the day, once I'm at home, I would like to watch a good Hindi movie. So, though I've been in South, working in South for almost 25 years, but still my consumption is Hindi. So why not communicate with these guys in their own language? And what better way to communicate to these guys? And with that kind of a depth, with that kind of a targeted group which one can think of. And definitely, as I told you, DV360 definitely for that in the days to come, it will become an important um, media communication for all of them.
Thank you, Sanjay. I think on that note, we also have a very similar question from the audience. So, Sambit has asked between Facebook, Instagram, and your own website or your landing pages, where did you get the highest amount of traffic from for your efforts?
From our own website. And in fact, we had done some changes on our website recently, and we have made it a lot of changes in it, and that is the reason that we are getting lot and lot of good number of leads, and that too because our leads on websites are all OTP verified. So obviously, the major chunk of or the junk leads gets avoided, and so that the customer, so that our uh, call center people do not face a lot of problems and all those things. So website definitely gives us good numbers and all those things. Frankly, Facebook we don't get too much onto it the way we get onto other platforms.
So that was another question that was had come up earlier, but you've already answered it with regard to vernacular, whether you're using vernacular communications, which you are. Uh, but the next part of that question is about the role of video. How much video do you use? Although this is real estate marketing, and when it comes to project, you could do a mix of both in terms of showing the project as well as getting in, people to fill in their details, etc. How much video do you use, and do you use video in languages as well?
Uh, as far as the, I'll tell you, shooting a video, yes, we do a lot of project specific video, and that too before launching a project, that is a walkthrough and all those things. And when you do a such kind of a video for a customer, it does not make a difference unless you actually show him the entire room, and that is the reason now we had actually come out with virtual X, wherein you get into the your own home virtually before thinking of. And shooting a video, and that too when we are more of uh, wherein most of our sales comes from a specific market. Shooting a video is a expensive proposition for us, and that too for a year or two. Shooting a video and then putting it on a TV channel is another expense. So there are a lot of expenses which are attached, and going nationally on a particular platform, because regional specific, which at a given time used to happen with uh, uh, an organization called Amagi, has stopped COVID. So you cannot only have your communication Bangalore specific or Karnataka specific. So if I have to spend that kind of a huge monies on the production of my commercial, and I'm not able to utilize it nicely. I don't think so that kind of a spend is advisable at this time. That does not mean that we don't get into videos at all. We do get into videos, but very specific, and that is again, as I told you that. Oh, sorry that you were not able to see those teasers and all those things. We are doing all those videos which are done by our own team internally, and which we use it on OTT platforms and a little bit on Kannada TV channels.
Sanjay, so I've
But
actually
yes, we have some plans to get into the other cable and satellites maybe once we have projects in Bombay.
Sanjay, I was actually able to find that Falcon video. Would you like me to play it?
Of,
Yeah.
people will have a fair idea that what exactly we are talking about.
Sorry, could you come again?
Yes, yes. He says go right
If you
ahead.
can, please go ahead.
Absolutely, yes. I hope it's audible.
Thanks, Lalitha.
You missed the last bit where the falcon comes and lands on the logo.
I think let us do these videos in. Oh, we are doing it in some of the markets like Bombay and uh, Pune and all those. Maybe once we approach near to launching the project, we will get into other platforms also.
So there's a good, nice question from Vivek. He says, given what your annual expectations are, how much of an impact have you been able to create in the last 6 months in terms of, you know, percentage of the annual expectation?
Uh, yes, as I told you, that initial days or initial months were not as good or anywhere near to what we had done in 2019, and that is true for the uh, all the entire industry except for e-commerce, wherein they would have shown some double growth in double and all those things because everybody wanted to have the products delivered at home. In the first 6 months, we were able to, I think now we are almost on par with whatever we had done in 2019. First six, if we talk about April, September 2019 to April, September to 2020, we would be almost on the same level or gone beyond that.
Wow.
And we should be going beyond. I'm sure we will be able to have our better numbers once we approach March 2021.
That was the second half of Vivek's question, whether there would have been that impact for the year. Yeah. Okay, you've answered that as well.
And we should be. We are very confident that we should be able to achieve those numbers. And thanks to our sales team, that in these kind of a scenario also they are able to get those numbers. And thanks to the brand which has been created called Prestige itself, that people have lot and lot of confidence on the brand, and that is one of the reasons that we were able to have that good numbers coming.
I think that one of the reasons that you were able to continue being active during the pandemic was you had inventory that could be sold, but a lot of the project work might have come to a standstill, right? When did you start work on the projects itself? You know, all the migrant
You asked
laborers have
me.
gone away.
That is something again. I think I should have informed you earlier on. One thing, good what the management did. Though we have a couple of hotels in Bangalore, Conrad and Sheraton and a loft and our own office Falcon Cafe and all those things, just to utilize those services and all those things. The kitchen never closed in any of these places. What we used to do every day, even during COVID, we used to have packets, few thousands of packets, which was prepared in these places. And every day we used to go to our projects. Every day we used to go to some of those areas wherein people had problems in buying food and all those. We used to deliver these packets to all the individuals over there. And uh, again, yes, after a month or two, everybody had started. But even during the first lockdown, when most of us were facing this problem, our kitchen never closed. And that is one of the reasons that we were able to retain most of our labor, which was working in different projects, and giving them the kind of confidence that in case anything goes wrong, we are there to help you out. And that is the reason. Uh, I don't think so. Any of our projects, if any of the project is to be delivered early next year, it will be delivered to the customer early next year. In fact, we are inaugurating three projects on 4th of November. So that is the reason, because we had uh, preempted and thought of that. Let us also look at our customers. Let us also look at that. Let us not delay our projects beyond. Yes, I'm not saying that entire thing will be 100%, but we are much near to 100% other than going back. Or though RERA has also given options to some of the to all the builders to have a little bit of cushion in terms of the delivery and all those things. But because we've had taken care of our labor across Bangalore and other markets, our construction continued, not 100%, but at least it continued.
That's really good to know. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Anyway, I telling because we could see that the entire country at that time was in such a mess that
Mm.
everybody wanted to take a bus or a train when the transport started. Go home. Yes, some people left, but some people also were they were convinced that Prestige will, and which we did, because as I told you, that none of our kitchen was closed any of those days.
Amazing. Any last question, Lalita?
I think just want to ask if you have any tips for real estate players out there as to how they can transform their marketing strategies to either digital first, or how can they come up with innovative solutions to sort of stay ahead of the curve and ensure that they meet the demand as well.
I feel that, as I told you, that everybody has to be optimistic on their approach, not look at something which is anyways done and over for us, and look at various digital platforms, especially when it comes to DV360, and which actually gives you the kind of audience which matter to you, other than just wasting monies and energies, and especially when each and every pie is important for us. Let us look at the platforms which delivers to the right audience at the right time. Especially, why not when DV360 or Google and different platforms, like even LinkedIn for that matter, gives very nice results to us. And that is the reason we are out of some of the platforms which a lot of real estate actually get into it. and we are into very, very specific platforms, which gives us result because every month we have our internal discussions in terms of which platform has given us what.
I think you summarized it beautifully, Sanjay, when you said reaching out to the right kind of audiences on the right platform at the right time.
So I think the message is clear. You've said that we need to be optimistic and we need to build from here going forwards. We need not necessarily be positive, but we need to be optimistic. Because as Sanjay kind of reiterated, during the age of Corona, if you say be positive, it's almost like a very negative statement. So thank you very much, Sanjay. Sorry?
If you say be positive, then people will quarantine you.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that very, very interesting session. And it's wonderful to see how Prestige has managed this very difficult period in not only taking care of the construction workers, but in ensuring that the inventory moved by reaching out and connecting with consumers. And at the same time, you also brought in new ways of marketing, including programmatic and DV360, which, as you said, you're seeing the results. So you'll be committed to going forwards. So thank you very much for a very, very
thanks.
session.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Lalitha. Thanks, Sunil, for giving us opportunity to talk, and very nice to be on board, and look forward for such more sessions in the days. And all the best. And as I told you, let's be all optimistic. Nothing is there. Everything is back to normal.
Thanks a lot for taking out the time. I know you've been very busy with Prestige Keys and a lot of campaigns, and despite COVID, it's been a hectic period. And I think your insights and the innovation you're driving at Prestige, not many real estate firms are doing it, and which is why I think you all are one of the top construction companies and developers in India as well.
One thing more, Sunil, in fact, though you will see that some curtains and all behind because today happens to be Eid, so we are not working. Otherwise, I would be sitting in office only and talking about it. So as I told you, we are open from the first week of May because today happens to be H50 for us. That's why at home.
No, definitely. And thank you. It's been really nice working with you and the team as well, with Fahad, Keshav. I think
Thanks, Sunil.
all
Thanks.
really amazing professionals to work with. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Same here, Sunil. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lalitha.
Thanks. Thank you.